Good morning, dear students. So in the last video, we have completed about the formation of urine. In the first step, we have completed the glomerular filtration. And after that, we have gone to the PCT. So in the PCT, what is happening means all the substances are reabsorbed in the PCT. So I have taken this one as the PCT. So what are the substances that are reabsorbed from the PCT means? It is water, glucose, bicarbonate, sodium chloride. Then what are the substances that are tubular secreted means H plus ions, ammonia, and potassium ions. Why these substances are secreted into PCT means PCT helps to maintain pH and ionic balance of the body fluids. Now let's go for the next one, loop of Henle. In loop of Henle, minimum reabsorption occurs. So I am drawing the loop of Henle here, right? In the loop of Henle, there are two limbs. One is the descending limb and second one is the ascending limb. Okay, so this side is ascending limb and this one is the descending limb. Okay, so loop of Henle plays an important role in the formation of hypertonic urine. And also loop of Henle maintains osmolarity of medullary interstitium. If the loop of Henle is removed, then urine will get more diluted. Okay, so generally you know that in the medulla means this is the medulla. Okay, inside the medulla, the nephron is present and that is the loop of Henle. And inside the medulla, the tissue is present. So entire this one is a tissue. So this tissue is called as interstitium. So the interstitium is nothing but that is the tissue present in the medullary region. So what is happening here? Loop of Henle is playing an important role in the formation of concentrated urine or hypertonic urine. And loop of Henle also maintains what it is maintaining. It is maintaining the medullary concentration or it is maintaining the osmotic concentration in the medulla. So this is the loop of Henle and this loop of Henle present in the medullary interstitium, and this loop of Henle is maintaining the concentration of the medullary region or medullary interstitium. So if the loop of Henle is removed, the urine will get diluted. So this one is the descending limb and this one is the ascending limb. So from the descending limb, water is reabsorbed into the medullary interstitium. From here to the water enters into the blood circulation. So these are the blood vessels. Okay, from here the water is entering into the blood circulation. Then from here the NaCl is reabsorbed into the medullary interstitium. But this NaCl enters into the again what we call blood vessel, that is called as vasa recta. Again from vasa recta it will come to here. So we'll explain that one in the counter current mechanism. So if the loop of Henle is removed, urine will get more diluted. Then you see the descending limb. So descending limb, just now I have drawn the diagram there. So descending limb of loop of Henle, this is the descending limb. Okay, I'm writing a single one. Descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water. So water is reabsorbed from the descending limb from here to here. So entire descending limb, the water is reabsorbed. So obligatory water reabsorption occurs in the descending limb. But descending limb is impermeable to the solute. So no solutes are coming outside and no solutes are entering into the descending limb. Okay. So if the water is removed from the descending limb, the concentration of the renal fluid is increasing maximum from 300 osmoles to 1200 osmoles. Okay. Maximum concentration occurs at the hairpin bend. This is the hairpin bend. So when the water is moving outside, it is increasing, the osmolarity is increasing like this. Okay, osmolarity is increasing from where to where? From 300 osmoles to 1200 osmoles. Then where the maximum concentration is occurring? The maximum concentration of renal fluid occurs in the hairpin band. So here the maximum concentration is occurring because by the renal fluid from here, it reaches to here, the maximum water is reabsorbed. Only the salts are present in the renal fluid. As the salts are present in the renal fluid, the concentration is increasing due to less amount of the water. Now let us go for the next one, ascending limb. Okay, you see the ascending limb. So this one is the ascending limb. I'll go with this color. So this one is the ascending limb. And the ascending limb is having two parts. One is the thin part and second one is the thick part. Okay, so this one is the ascending limb and this one is also ascending limb. So ascending limb is impermeable to water. That means from here, the water is not at all moving outside. So it is impermeable to the water, but permeable to electrolytes. Okay, so what are the substances that are reabsorbed means NaCl is reabsorbed from both the thin segment and thick segment. That means salts are coming outside. Okay, salts are coming outside, but the water is not coming outside. Very important point, you have to remember that. Which is coming outside from the ascending limb means salt is coming outside. NaCl is coming outside from the ascending limb. So ascending limb is having two segments, thin segment and thick segment. From the thin segment, the salt is coming outside. From the thick segment also, the salt is coming outside. So from the thin segment, the NaCl is coming outside through passive transport. And from the thick segment, the NaCl is coming outside through active transport. As the renal fluid is moving up in the ascending limb, it becomes diluted. It is becoming diluted. So from here 1200, the osmolarity is there. As it is moving up, water is present inside the renal fluid, but the salts are coming outside. So the osmolarity is decreasing from 1200 to 300 as it reaches to the cortex. Okay, as the renal fluid is reaching to the as the renal fluid moves upwards, the osmolarity is decreasing. Or simply we can say that the renal fluid is becoming diluted. Why the renal fluid is becoming diluted? Because the electrolytes are moved outside. Electrolytes present in the renal fluid are going outside. Then which is present in the renal fluid? Water is present, salts are less. But in this case, in the descending limb, water is less, but salts are more. So from here, the osmolarity has been increased from here to here. But while it is moving up, when the renal fluid is moving up, what is happening? When the renal fluid is moving up, the salts are decreasing and water is present. So due to presence of water, the renal fluid is becoming more and more diluted as it moves upwards, right? So this is very important point. NaCl is reabsorbed in the thin segment by passive transport. NaCl is reabsorbed by active transport in the thick segment, and the renal fluid gets diluted as it moves upwards. Right, now let us go for the next one, DCT. So DCT means minimum reabsorption occurs. So you know this one is a nephron. Okay, so this one is a PCT, and this one is the loop of Henle, and this one is the DCT. So what is happening in the DCT? Minimum reabsorption is occurring in the DCT. Why? Because the reabsorption of the DCT depends upon certain conditions. Okay, depends upon certain conditions. So conditional reabsorption of water occurs in the DCT, or we can say that one also as facultative reabsorption of water. So reabsorption of water depends upon conditions and also hormones like antidiuretic hormone. What are the substances reabsorbed from here? Substances reabsorbed, we can see water, bicarbonate, and NaCl. What are the substances secreted here? The substances secreted are hydrogen ions, ammonia, and potassium ions. So if you remember that there is much difference is not there in DCT and PCT. In proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule, substances secreted or tubular secretion is same. Reabsorption is also same. But in PCT, essential substances like glucose, amino acids are reabsorbed. By the time the renal fluid reaches to the DCT, there the glucose and amino acids are absent. So it reabsorbs only water, bicarbonate, and sodium chloride. And DCT also maintains pH and sodium potassium balance in blood. Very important point. Which part is maintaining the pH and sodium potassium balance in the blood means DCT. PCT maintains what? Proximal convoluted tubule maintains what? Ionic and water balance in the cortical fluid. Ionic and water balance in the cortical fluid is maintained by proximal convoluted tubule, but DCT maintains pH and sodium potassium balance in the blood. So very important point for this one for the NEET. And also here conditions and hormonal reabsorption is also very, very important. Right, we'll go for the next one, collecting duct. In collecting duct, so collecting duct is long and extends from cortex to deep medulla. So you can see this one is the collecting duct. The collecting duct is present in the cortex. This is the cortex. Okay, collecting duct extending into the deep medulla. This is the medulla. So collecting duct is extending from where to where? Collecting duct is extending from cortex to deep medulla. So to increase the concentration of urine, large amounts of water is reabsorbed. So water is reabsorbed from collecting duct. Collecting duct, the water is reabsorbed. And also small amounts of urea is also secreted into the medullary interstitium to maintain osmolarity in the medullary interstitium. So this entire part is medullary interstitium. So into the medullary interstitium, urea is secreted from the collecting duct to maintain osmolarity. So what are reabsorbed here? Water and urea are reabsorbed in the collecting duct. You can see here, the urea is reabsorbed, water is also reabsorbed. But what are substances that are secreted means H plus ions and K plus ions are secreted into the collecting duct to maintain osmolarity. So very, very important point about this one, collecting duct. You have to remember. Now let us go for the next one, mechanism of concentration of urine. How the urine is concentrated. Very important part, this one, you have to remember that countercurrent mechanism. So mammals have the ability to produce concentrated urine. Only the mammals can produce concentrated urine. So if you take the concentration of primary urine, what is primary urine means? The fluid present in the Bowman's capsule, the glomerular filtrate. So the blood that is filtered from glomerulus into the lumen of Bowman's capsule is called as primary urine. The concentration of primary urine, imagine as 1 or A. Then concentration of secondary urine. Where at the concentration of secondary urine means at the end of collecting duct. So when the urine reaches to the collecting duct, what is its concentration means? It is 4 times more concentrated than primary urine. So I'm using the word 4A. I hope you understood this one. When we compare the concentration of secondary urine is 4 times more concentrated when compared to the primary urine. Then what are the structures that play an important role in the formation of concentrated urine means? It is a loop of Henle and vasa recta. You all know that one. So loop of Henle means this one, Henle's loop. Okay. So Henle's loop is having 2 limbs, ascending limb, descending limb and ascending limb. And second one is telling that one as vasa recta. What is vasa recta? Vasa recta means network of blood capillaries present around the loop of Henle. So this is the vasa recta. Okay. This vasa recta is having network like this, present around the loop of Henle. So the network of blood capillaries present around the loop of Henle is called as vasa recta. Then what type of mechanism is involved in the formation of concentrated urine means? The mechanism is counter current mechanism. Okay, what is meant by counter current mechanism? It is opposite flow of blood and urine, or we can say that opposite flow of fluids in the 2 limbs of Henle is called as counter current mechanism. And also vasa recta also flows opposite. It is also called as counter current mechanism. So counter current mechanism means what? Opposite flow of fluids in the 2 limbs of vasa recta and loop of Henle is called as counter current mechanism. So the counter currents are 2, that is counter current 1 and counter current 2. What is that counter current 1 and counter current 2? Let us see that one also. So counter current 1. Counter current 1 is also called as counter current multiplier. So it is the opposite flow of renal fluid in the two limbs of loop of Henle. So I am drawing the loop of Henle here. So it is opposite flow of renal fluid in the two limbs of loop of Henle. So you know that one is the ascending limb and one is the descending limb. So this is the descending limb and this one is the ascending limb. So urine flows in the descending limb in this direction, in the ascending limb in this direction. Okay, so this is called as counter current 1. What is counter current 2? So counter current 2 means opposite flow of blood. So this one is the vasa recta. Okay, so opposite flow of blood in the two limbs of vasa recta is called as counter current 2. Let us see this one. Yeah, this one, if you see here, this one is the descending limb of vasa recta and this one is the ascending limb of vasa recta. When we compare the vasa recta and loop of Henle also, in the loop of Henle and vasa recta, the fluids are flowing in opposite direction to each other. Okay, so opposite flow of blood in two limbs of vasa recta is called as counter current 2. Now let us see the osmolarity of medullary interstitium. The osmolarity of medullary interstitium increases gradually from outer medullary region. So here it is 300 and here it is becoming 1200. Okay, from outer medullary region to inner medullary region, from 300 osmoles to 1200 osmoles. Why it is increasing, I already explained. Because of the movement of water and because of the presence of electrolytes in the loop of Henle. Right. So let us see the next one. Then increase of osmolarity is due to what? Increase of osmolarity is due to proximity between loop of Henle and vasa recta. So proximity means what? This is the loop of Henle. Okay. And this one is the vasa recta. That means the vasa recta and loop of Henle are lying very close to each other. Okay. If the vasa recta and loop of Henle lies very close to each other, that is called as proximity. So proximity means lying very close to each other. So the proximity between loop of Henle and vasa recta, counter current 1 and counter current 2, these three are responsible for the increase of osmolarity. And the concentration gradient is maintained by, which one is maintaining the concentration gradient? So why the concentration gradient is increasing and which one is maintaining that concentration gradient means it is sodium chloride and urea. Okay. So NaCl from ascending limb enters into the medullary interstitium. I'll go for a better diagram to explain this one. So it will be easy for us to understand. I'll draw a single line so that it will be easy. Yeah. So this one is a loop of Henle. Okay. So this one is the loop of Henle. And this one is a vasa recta. A distance, I'm drawing a little bit distance for our explanation. So generally they are present very close to each other. But for the explanation purpose, I'm using this one. You all know that this one is the descending limb, this one is the ascending limb. For this one, this is the ascending limb, this one is the descending limb. So how this concentration gradient is maintained? Concentration gradient is maintained by NaCl and urea. So if you remember that entire this part is medullary interstitium. Okay, this one is interstitium. Okay, entire this part is medullary interstitium. So just remember that. So right, from where to where it is secreting, I'll tell you now. So little bit lines I have to draw so that I'm going again. Yeah. This one is the vasa recta. Okay, it's gone. Okay. And this one is the medullary interstitium. The yellow color one is the medullary interstitium. Right. Now if you see here, from where to where it is moving. So NaCl, from here the NaCl is entering to here. From here the NaCl is entering to here. Right, it is not writing here. NaCl is coming from where to where? From ascending limb to medullary interstitium. From medullary interstitium to descending limb of vasa recta. Descending limb of vasa recta. From here, it is traveling like this. Okay, from there it is traveling like this. Right, from here it reaches to the ascending limb of vasa recta. From ascending limb of vasa recta, again it enters into the medullary interstitium. So from where to where it is traveling? Medullary NaCl is traveling from ascending limb of vasa recta to medullary interstitium. Again from medullary interstitium to descending limb of vasa recta. Okay. Again from descending limb of vasa recta to ascending limb of vasa recta, ascending limb of vasa recta to medullary interstitium. This is NaCl. This is NaCl. NaCl entering into the descending limb. NaCl. It is entering into the ascending limb. Again from ascending limb, it reaching to here. So it interstitium to interstitium, it is traveling. Similarly, urea. Urea also enters from collecting duct. Okay. So collecting duct, it is entering from collecting duct into the medullary interstitium, and medullary interstitium to thin segment of ascending limb, from there thick segment, from there DCT, again from collecting duct, again from collecting duct to medullary interstitium. Like that, it is traveling from one point to another point, right? So special arrangement of vasa recta and Henle's loop for the transport of NaCl and urea and counter current mechanism increases the osmolarity of medullary interstitium. So when the osmolarity of medullary interstitium is increased, it makes easy passage of water from collecting duct. So more water is reabsorbed from the collecting duct into the medullary interstitium. So in the collecting duct, the water has been decreased. So the concentration of urine is increasing. So the urine becomes hypertonic. Now let us see the concentration of renal fluid. So if you see the Bowman's capsule is hypotonic to the cortical fluid. That means the concentration of renal fluid in the Bowman's capsule is less than the concentration of cortical fluid. Then in descending limb, the concentration is increasing gradually as the water is reabsorbed. In hairpin bend, maximum concentration of renal fluid occurs. In ascending limb, it decreases gradually as the salts are reabsorbed and water is present. At the end of collecting duct, renal fluid is hypotonic to blood and plasma because more water is reabsorbed from the collecting duct, right? So this completes about the counter current mechanism, right? In the next class, next video, we will see about the micturition, RAS mechanism, micturition, and excretory system disorders, right? So this video is completed. I hope you understood everything. If any doubts are there, you please watch.